The Washington Commanders made a unique pick, and luckily, it's really paying off so far this offseason, and we're going to talk all about it. If you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but we have this channel talking about teams and talking about things that the national media just would not ever talk about. So here's the guy we're talking about. It's Luke McCaffrey. So this article talks about the offseason and some of the guys that were winners. And Luke McCaffrey was an interesting pick by the Commanders. He was picked in the third round, and it's like, all right, McCaffrey, yep. All right. I like the name. Let's go. But here's the problem. The Washington Commanders really needed some wide receiver help with only McLaurin and Dotson being their guys that they can really count on. If you look at their depth chart really quick at wide receiver, it's like, all right, love these two. But then after that, it's like Jamison Crowder. Wow, he's still in the league. Okay, good. What do we got? Right. So to take Luke McCaffrey was really interesting because, and we'll get to the good news here in a second, but really quick as a reminder of Luke McCaffrey and kind of what he was all about. Remember, he went to Nebraska in 2019, 20, and 21. It's COVID. Adrian Martinez is his quarterback. Remember, Nebraska was really expected to do something, and they just don't. And it's just weird and terrible. And everybody wants everyone fired out of Nebraska. So from there, he goes to Rice. And remember, he was initially going to be a quarterback, but then changes, and now he's a wide receiver. So he's there in 21, 22, and 23. So it's like Rice. Okay, gosh, right? So you're just trying to figure out like what the heck's going on. So he was in the quarterback competition at Rice, but then switches over to wide receiver and just kind of has limited production. I mean, you're at Rice, you go from quarterback to receiver. It's just not like a typical move. So he's 6'2", 200 pounds. So it's not like he's like super big or overly athletic, but so far so good in what everything that we're seeing. So he was taken 100th overall. He's a fascinating prospect because we all know about it. Ed and Christian, his brother. He's a little raw. However, he looked like someone right away that could potentially make an impression as a rookie based on an extremely small sample size. Remember, we're in the spring here. We're going to get to training camp and really find out some things. But he was crisp route running, had good hands, got a rapport instantly with Jaden Daniels. The Commanders feel like they can provide a sort of environment that helps McCaffrey blossom until he becomes more polished in terms of route running and body control. Cliff Kingsbury cannot scheme open a big slot option. There's nothing to suggest, that Kingsbury cannot scheme him open as a big slot option. So that's it, right? In the NFL in the year 2024, the wide receiver is no longer this prototypical wide receiver. You see it with the Lions, they got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You see it with the Chargers, they're going with Ladd McConkey. Can you get separation? That's really what it's all about. And also, too, can you get those matchups to get separation if you're schemed open? So you're hoping the combination of a really good offensive coordinator combined with a guy that can run crisp routes, get open, find a way to wiggle. It's like that's what you're really looking for. And so if the Commanders have that, then all of a sudden this roster that they have just starts to really look interesting, because if you're a Commanders fan, number one, you're in the NFC. So that just kind of helps a little bit. There's not the depth that there is in the AFC. So cool. Again, you're trying to win your division. Your division, all right, it's not like that's not terrifying in the division. So it's like, okay, the division's manageable, and you've got a running back that's got a couple more years on him. You've got your top two wide receivers are good. McCaffrey, can you be the guy? Ertz, veteran tight end, good enough offensive line. I mean, right? Like this is an offensive line that can get it done. Then defensively, it was not bad last year. Veteran guys. This is a team with so many question marks, and I mean that in a good way, because it's like, what if Bobby Wagner can just continue to play at a high level? What if where Jonathan Allen is a stud? What if Farrell has a breakout year and figures it out? Like what if Luke McCaffrey just fits right in? What if Ertz can get, you just got all these what ifs. Now, again, it all goes back to Jaden Daniels. So none of that matters if he's terrible. And none of it matters if he's really good. If he's really good, then it's like, okay, let's go. So again, if you're a Commanders fan, you've got Luke McCaffrey who's showing some signs. Again, let's get into training camp here in a few weeks and figure that out. But this is like, okay, we need to see Jaden Daniels playing really well. From there, okay, cool. Let's figure out things as we go. It's just a trend type thing. Like I don't because being a Lions fan, same thing, right? You're kind of starting over. This was a couple years ago, and it's like I don't need to win the Super Bowl. I just want to play meaningful games late in the season. And in order to do that, we got to be in games, and we got to just kind of continue to trend better and better, and then win the division. Ultimately, is the goal. So again, if you're new to the channel, we have this channel kind of covering and looking at things that, again, the national media wouldn't pay any attention to. And by the way, they don't pay attention to the Commanders anymore. I don't know if it's because they changed it. I don't know if it's, I don't, I was going to say, I don't know if it's changed the name. No, it's not that. It's multiple things. But I always loved the Redskins. Okay. Loved them. Just because I love the colors. Love the colors. Redskins. Sean Taylor. Oh my gosh, how sweet was he? Loved Sean Taylor. He was like one of my favorite players. I was like, I'd never been so like down about something than when I heard the news about him. So anyway, love the Commanders and hope to see them do better this year. So let me know in the comments how you became a Redskins fan, a Commanders fan, when that was, how that kind of happened. The East Coast over there, just so you know, like if you're thinking about over on that side with just like Washington, all the New York teams, New England. It's like, man, there's so much going on in just like this, I don't know, 100-mile radius. I don't know, but there's like the biggest franchises all over there, and it's crazy. So that's always curious, like how do you find, because it's for the Lions, it's geographically, like he's born here, but over there, it's like, man, you could be one of 5 teams that are within 3 hours from you. So it's like, it's not really that geographically. It's like dad grew up watching them, or you never know, right? Like, so let me know in the comments how you became a Washington Commanders or Redskin fan. I would love to know that. Again, if you haven't subscribed already, we do kind of a lot of teams, but daily videos covering those teams. So make sure you subscribe so that when your team comes on our channel, you can definitely check that out. And we will see all of you on the next one.